Everybody, welcome to my channel Be Free Now with Maria. So today I'm inspired to start with my bag of words. So let's see, I'll pull out one word and see what I'm inspired to share. Ooh, spirit. All right, so immediately I thought spirit lead me. One of my favorite things to say, and the reason for it is because when I say spirit lead me, it removes all of my mental blocks. In that moment, I remind myself, right, that I don't walk alone, that spirit lives and breathes through me. And when I open up, right, to spirit's guidance, then I'm leading in a direction where there's bound to be more peace, even if I'm in a room where there's a lot of chaos. In other words, there may be people who will be upset or going through things, and a lot of energies and emotions may be elevated, but I can stay centered in that space, right? In other words, I don't try to force or change things. I allow myself to be present and serve in any way that I can, right? Because I've asked spirit to lead me. It's not something, right, that sometimes we can do when we're not consciously focused on our intention, right, to be led. But when we are inviting, right, spirit to lead us, something bigger happens, and we're able to get out of our mind and be more present with what is without judgment, so that we can serve or not get ourselves, caught up in the chaos and the intensity that's around us. And this is not just something, right, that I can use or any of us can use for maintaining peace in a chaotic environment. It can be something that we can use when, we are trying to create something or want to establish something, regardless of what that is, whether it's establishing a relationship or establishing a way of living or anything else, right? Or anything else that we can think of. It's something that can be applied in all aspects of our lives, and that we can use to clear our mind and open ourselves up to something big and greater than just our five senses, right? We're tapping in to that small still voice, to that guidance, and using that to help us, right, create peace, establish things for ourselves, and make changes that we desire to make, or keep ourselves in the space that we desire to keep ourselves in. So yeah, spirit lead me. That's what came to mind. All right, so I'm going to choose another word and see what else I'm inspired to share. All right. Oh, panic. Love it. Because, right, when I think of panic, I think of the complete opposite. I think of my ego taking over, my worry going to an all-time high, right? And then how we show up at that point, right? I know when I'm in that space, I don't show up, right, as my best self or as my most peaceful self, because, right, I'm in panic mode. I'm in worry mode. My ego has taken over. My shadows got me captivated. And then it's like, right, I'm running amok. It's like my ego's running amok, and things don't tend to work out, right, the way I would have preferred when I sit back and reflect on it. So, right, that's not a space that leaves me feeling well, and it doesn't leave many people feeling well and happy inside, because it's not the space that feels good. It's the space that brings out that distrust in us, right? That allows the fear to lead us, and it leaves us feeling like the cup is empty and feeling depleted, or with disrupted relationships and more emotional angst, because we're in that panic-like state. So we want to be conscious, right, that panic-like state is something that we can manage. It's part of being human, right? It's like we can beat ourselves up, but that's not really going to bring us, right, any closer to where we want to be. And when I'm talking about beat ourselves up, I'm speaking about internally with our inner critic, right? And, attacking ourselves and judging ourselves for allowing, ourselves to be in that space. isn't really going to help us. All it's going to do is just bring us further down in emotions, and then we're going to feel worse about ourselves and continue believing negative things about ourselves that aren't true. They're just programmed thinking, and we don't want to stay in that space because it feels really yucky. And when we turn to spirit, right, when we are feeling yucky like that and we turn to spirit, we pause and we turn to spirit, then we are able to pivot, we're able to shift and to create a different mindset for ourselves that's going to allow us to feel different. But we have to, right, change the way we're thinking in order to be able to feel different. We can't keep on with the same story or the same worry because we're not going to get there. So when we invite spirit in, at that point, we are able to create a more peaceful existence within ourselves, and also able to be more open to how we let ourselves even get there and what's really going on, right? With us in that moment. It's easier for us to reflect when we shift from the noise and the panic and turn to spirit. It's easier for us to be more open to learn from that situation, whatever it is that we need to learn or we want to learn, or we're open and willing to learn, so that we don't necessarily keep on repeating, right, the things that don't feel good to us and living in that panic-like state that doesn't feel good to us, that actually just, right, depletes us and take our breath away. Or at least it feels that way, because it can feel hard to breathe when we're feeling, right, anxious and panicky and so forth. So we want to bring in, right, we want to bring in the light, we want to bring in spirit, and we want to create that shift. And when we say, right, spirit lead me, or, a spirit show me the way, and we spend a little quiet time, whether it's, with our eyes closed or journaling, we're able to see more expansively, right, and become more aware of what's happening internally, so that we can create a shift, not only in our emotions in that moment, but even as we go along in life, right? Because the more aware we are, the more likely we are to then catch ourselves that much faster, or pivot, when I say catch ourselves that much faster, but pivot that much faster and be able to come back to a place that feels more in alignment, right, with how we want to feel. In other words, when I say bring us back to a space, also gives us the opportunity to show up, in a way that's more in alignment with the way we intended, or really prefer. When I say intended to, right, something that we prefer for ourselves, and we might have, not necessarily accomplished that, at first, with the first step, but it doesn't mean that we can't, pivot and turn it around and bring ourselves back to where we want to be. Look, this is a work in progress. So we're not here to be perfect, but we can definitely create changes and shifts that allow us, right, to live, intentionally and more on purpose, and with more joy than the opposite. So I hope that this message has helped you in some way. If it did, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to find out about more work that I'm doing, you can visit my website. All the information is down in the description below. All right, have a beautiful day. Bye for now.